Welcome. This is the Late Late Show with VC, where views with security and law have been provided to you, the public. We've been doing the radio version, changed the time a little bit, and bringing to you still for the Late Late Show with VC. Because the best seats in the house are no longer in your house. Lincoln, MKX. Bring the holiday spirit. I don't know about you, but me, I was in church on Christmas Day. And I also got my right hand in fellowship. I joined the church, and the fourth Sunday is the Sunday where they do their right hand in fellowship, and it just happened to be Christmas. So we are reading with People in Espanol, Mayo 2016, Health May 2016, Popular Photography April 2016, O April 2016, and Food and Wine November 2015 and December 2015. And with Ray Al. It wouldn't be surprising to see a gang of goggle-eyed minions working helter-skelter behind the bar. But that destruction was eventually followed by an incredible burst of creativity. Christchurch has become a much better place to eat to. There are more restaurants in the city now than before the quake, and the best are extremely good. At this minuscule 8-table place, Sterler serves a tasty menu using ultra-local ingredients. Much of the produce comes from the restaurant's backyard garden, but there is no actual menu. So the restaurant has a backyard garden. That's where they get their vegetables from. That sounds kind of awesome. So back with Royale, and there's a good reason to go, and it's way Par Valley subzone. North Canterbury produces some of the best Pinot Noirs and Rieslings in New Zealand. The local vibe is more one of people taking their time and chatting casually with the winery owner, who's as likely to be pouring as any other employee. Despite its proximity to the city, North Canterbury was barely affected by the Christchurch quake, though at Pegasus Bay, my first stop in one of the closest wineries to the city, winemaker Matt Donaldson did have a few disconcerting moments. All the barrel stacks started swaying back and forth, but then it quieted down, except for this eerie squishing and the sounds of all the wine in the barrels. The hills provide shelter from the ocean winds. The region is only about 3 miles from the Pacific coast, and their clay limestone soils are exactly the kind that Pinot Noir loves. Part of why the best white par Pinots can go up against any other regions in the world. And while I've begun to feel lately that soon the only restaurant left in the world that's not locally sourced is going to be the Jack in the Box, taking a sip of good Pinot Noir while gazing across a Pinot Noir while gazing across at New Zealand's snow-capped southern Alps reduced my cynicism level very quickly. There, covering the back wall, was an 8 by 26-foot mural, blue skies, strange Kabbalistic signs, geometric designs in brilliant purples, golds, and oranges. We commissioned the mural when we were building the winery. Jason Wise, director of the new documentary Psalm Into the Bottle, spent years learning about iconic wines. Here he reveals what bottle he opens when he's editing a film and what his father-in-law taught him about staying normal. Interview with Ray Al. What's Psalm Into the Bottle about? After doing 2 movies about wine, are you a little burnt out on it? Would you ever want to become a master sommelier yourself? You can't come back from the process of trying to be a master sommelier and be normal again when it comes to wine. George Chen from China Live. China is the second largest economy in the world now. And when people travel there, they see seasonal ingredient driven food, not the beef with broccoli that's on every restaurant menu across the U.S. Interview with Ray Al. Do you ever debate which is better, wine or beer? But despite the, let's say, obvious inferiority of John's product versus wine, I do admire the baseline experience of running a brewery. We both think running a bar or restaurant should be a requirement before you take a political position. It's the best training in the world. Without with regard to blending politics and wine. John Birdsall. Just when I think she'll fall in and we will have to pull her out by the leg, she emerges with a 2-foot cilantro stalk, leaves stripped, trailing a pale root. The mostly Laotian dishes Sai-Habao and his mom are preparing are ones he grew up with, the taste marked on his memory, indelible as tattoos, the fermented fish paste called padak, shuddering bitter beef bao. These are the flavors that in the years he spent learning to become a great chef once embarrassed him, so he boxed those memories up and hid them away. Sai-Bao came to Oakland in 1981 when he was 2 years old and still called Samship his birth name. They ate in one another's apartments or in the backyard, on floor mats scarred with cigarette burns, gathering around grilled fish, jungle curries, and baskets of sticky rice, everybody eating from the same platters and bowls. She'd tell me she was afraid she wouldn't be able to bring in the customers. I used to be kind of a snob, he tells me. In fine dining, you have to be a tough guy. Like chef, author of the memoir Fresh Off the Boat, Sai-Bao is engaged in a hip-hop throwdown, flinging open the back gate of the Laotian ghetto to say, take a look, this is the real. At the barbecue, I follow Sai-Bao down a long driveway near Hawker Fair to a large paved backyard ringed by folding chairs. From a big Weber grill behind the buffet tables, a gray-haired volunteer pulls the first whiskey from the coals. A murky red fleck with black, it contains 2 types of cow bao, extracted from separate stomachs. One is deeply awful, the other has a low bitterness, filled out with charred tomatoes, fish sauce, fermented shrimp paste, and chilies. But he's teaching his cooks to be more open. Kristen Quinlan. The James Allen home, a few minutes' drive from his downtown Charleston restaurants FIG and The Ordinary, was built in 1747 by the father of one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. The day after we bought the place, we walked in with a glass of champagne. I was like, what did I do? Baffled Christine Quinlan. I also made quesadillas with mashed sweet potatoes or butternut squash plus black beans, cheese, and chilies. Michelle Trotter. When you spend 30 years in the modeling industry, you're bound to have some body issues. I made a wonderful living for years, but since giving birth to my second child last summer, I'm 65 pounds heavier than I've ever been. By Jessica Press. But the accident set off a lifetime of pain due to her traumatic brain injury and complications from it. Some sessions offer days of relief, other times it lasted only as long as to walk back to her car. Sweet Melissa, the bottom line is this: there's not a damn thing you can do if your father has some peculiar need to be mistaken for a Brooklyn barista. As told to Joseph Zambrano, people say NWA as thugs, but they were really poets talking about their reality. People saw NWA as thugs, but they were really poets talking about their reality. Speaking of sweet Melissa Goldberg, rather than bother with saw and shovels, the 46-year-old San Francisco artist uses paper and glue to sculpt astonishing flowers in eye-catching colors, poppies in bright pink, bougainvillea and fuchsia. The bigger the blossom, the better. Turner's talent also lies in crafting sculptures of marigolds, chrysanthemums, dahlias, and peonies that require 15 to 26 rolls of glue paper each and are roughly the size of inner tubes. I was playing Frida Kahlo in an art history-themed burlesque show as a trained architect. While the blooms have an effortless beauty, they are the product of serious labor. I've always been drawn to dry and desiccated things, which are also beautiful to look at. Mary Dabrowski from Griffith, Indiana. It seems that few people want to touch unpleasant subjects, but as someone has suffered from depression for more than 30 years, I applaud you for broaching the subject. Keeping feelings bottled up is the worst thing a person can do. Walter Mercado. Un cielo colmado de energía positiva te motivará a hacer todo aquello que te atemorizaba, pero que ahora te beneficiará. Ten mucho cuidado, ya que tu bondadoso corazón te puede hacer víctima. Nicole Wason-Egan. Después del trabajo, él se dedica a los niños. Patrick Gomez. Ya en la secundaria trabajaba el turno del desayuno en el restaurante del hotel donde mi madre también trabajaba. Follow these beauty shortcuts to get gorgeous with zero hassle. Lisa DeSantis. Before you reach for that brush, spritz on a heat protector, which also helps evaporate water. Next, divide hair into 4 quadrants, 2 on the crown and 2 by the nape of your neck. By the time you finish those, the sections underneath should be air dry. Last, take an extra second to brush and fill in brows with a multitasking product. To avoid waiting in the bud for your glow to dry, gently blast your skin with cool air from your blow dryer. Lauren Oster. Dogs' noses are said to be 1,000 times more sensitive than ours, and pooches can be trained to respond to the signature sense of human health conditions. There isn't conclusive evidence to back some patients' claims that dogs are able to predict seizures, but they can be trained to bark when a child has a seizure to alert family members or to position themselves to break a fall when an episode starts. These people don't test their blood less frequently. They are actually end up testing their blood more frequently, but life is so much more under their control. And that's how dogs are changing medicine. Could this be the end of cancer with Mary Elizabeth Williams? Yet a month after my diagnosis, I became one of the first dozen patients in a new clinical trial at the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City, receiving a type of treatment known as immunotherapy, which harnesses the body's natural defenses to fight cancer. Immunotherapy approaches the problem differently, stimulating the patient's own body to kill the cancer, but reprogramming the immune system to, as doctor says, break the hypnosis effect that cancer cells have on our T cells has been hard to achieve, and immunotherapy languished for decades as a fringe field of research. I just happened to be lucky enough to be diagnosed with my typical fatal and historically chemo-resistant form of cancer at the right time for a breakthrough. In the spring of 2011, the FDA approved an immunotherapy treatment, ipilimumab, known by the brand name Yervoy. That drug will be approved under the brand name Opdivo in 2014. See Unmasking Cancer, page 77 to learn how it works. After my very first treatment, a visible tumor under the skin on my back began to shrink. That's why some of the currently approved courses of immunotherapy span only a few dozen doses over a relatively short period. The idea is that as soon as the body learns, it remembers. A life without the constant worry that I'll get sick again has been the second greatest gift of my treatment. As blogger who, after a stage 4 melanoma diagnosis, has been thriving for 3 years in a trial of the immunotherapy drug Keytruda, puts it, the truth is the drug isn't beating cancer, my immune system is. With encouraging results like mine, it's little wonder that in just the past few years, immunotherapy alone, and in combination with traditional methods, has been touted as the next big thing, not only for melanoma, but for cancer itself. We're recognizing that the lessons we learned studying the relationship between the immune system and the melanoma are applicable to other types of cancers, says Dr. Myth. If I get into a clinical trial, I'll be stuck in a placebo group and won't be treated. Fact. And when control groups are part of a study, patients in those groups typically still receive treatment, which may be the usual standard of care throughout the trial. But while there is plenty to be excited about, there are still significant downsides. The biggest reality check of all, however, is that the number of cancers immunotherapy has been proven effective for is still relatively small, though growing, and it doesn't work on every patient. But 2 weeks before that, a friend of mine died. We are now at the beginning of the journey. But how much more amazing it is with every new breakthrough to see myself becoming something else. Unmasking cancer. How one type of immunotherapy awakens the body's defenses. Immunotherapy drugs like Opdivo bind to PD-1, preventing cancer cells from accessing T cells and thereby enabling the T cells to see the tumor cells and kill them. Blocking the brakes for a temporary period of time reinvigorates T cells, allowing them to overcome any immunosuppressive influences coming from the tumor, explains MD. Jennifer Benjamin. A craving is essentially just a habit you've ensconced in the brain pathway, explains Michael Rosen, MD, Chief Wellness Officer at the Cleveland Clinic. If you tend to eat when you're anxious or at a certain time of night, the behavior just continues on as part of your lifestyle. What's more, a lot of us turn to mindless super snacking when we're really looking to comfort ourselves or just find distraction. But these psychological effects are temporary at best, says Mrs. Cheryl May, MD, author of Eat What You Love, Love What You Eat. Instead of rationalizing your snack happy scenarios, I'm stressed, I always have chocolate after dinner. I.e. the real reasons behind them. Most cravings pass after about 15 to 30 minutes, explains a behavioral therapist at Johns Hopkins Weight Management Center. So wait them out. Even set a timer. Cravings come almost in a wave. And most people give in right before the peak, she says. Curb it. First, try to go straight to bed. Indulge it. The problem with eating too close to bedtime is that it can mess with digestion and disrupt your sleep. Rewire it. Nail your breakfast to set yourself up for success before bed. Trick your taste buds with these better for you alternatives, brought to you by RD. Jacqueline Andriakos. Practice at your own pace and skill level. Be sure to put in some work each day so you can complete the progression by the end of the week. Then tack them onto each other, aiming to eventually finish all three back to back. So I used to do planks. I like doing planks. My grandmother used to live on a road that had a plank in it before I knew what a plank was. But it since now became not the best place to live. So now we're going to the book where we writing in a book to read. And that was so I think I'm gonna go visit my mom today. I didn't get to visit her on Christmas. So I'm gonna go the day after. I ended up staying at my aunt's house. My cousin came over, and that was my Christmas for the year. So I was going between 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Nobel Prize winner, and California Dreaming by Zoe Dean. Because am I just dreaming, or will I get a chance to live in California at some point in my life? Well, Someone says, well, it's only you. You know, I don't have any kids. Like, I don't have any kids to drag along with me. I don't have any kids to think about, you know, how decisions will be made with me or in them. It's just me. So I think we're gonna go with California Dreaming. You know, in the process of applying to go to a school in New York. Hopefully, hoping that it will help me make that transition where I can have New York and California. Um, but we'll see because there's always that question about money, and then there's also a question about getting accepted. And then I'm somewhat settled here in Virginia. I would like to make a life here in Virginia. Maybe I hear back from a lady that has her own agency here, but I haven't heard anything back yet. Maybe I should give her a call again to see if she's gotten my submission. Anyway, that's how things have been going here. As you can tell, there's a lot of uncertainties. So we're going with California Dreaming for the book. Rather than hustle the remaining 10 paces toward the beckoning flight attendant Anna froze. Her last words was Logan Cresswell, the boy who had brought her here, the boy who was presumably waiting for her in the first-class cabin of this Air East Indonesia flight, flashed through her mind. There's a flight back to Bali that leaves LAX at 3 this morning. Anna was not the kind of girl to break up with one guy. The exquisitely complicated but equally compelling Van Birnbaum only to run away to Bali with another one. A mere 19 minutes before she made the snap decision to join an old Upper East Side childhood neighbor turned recent romantic interest Logan for a trans-Pacific flight to Bali. Anna had tried to reach him by cell, but evidently the captain had already given the order for cell phones to be turned off, tray tables to be locked in their upright position, etc., etc. She took a deep, fortifying breath and stepped across the threshold. There, the beautiful Balinese flight attendant broke into a relieved smile, welcomed Anna aboard with a gentle bow, and thrust a ribbon-tied bird of paradise blossom into her hand while she scanned Anna's ticket stub. "You're the last one to board and will be taking off shortly." So I've been thinking about putting these books, just sending them back to Goodwill. And I've been thinking about stopping the show. Just throwing all the magazines in the trash and just stopping it. Which I kind of want to do right now. As I miss my mom for Christmas, and I think I want to go ahead and let that supersede the book. So if you bear with me through this time of self-discovery and career searching, it'll be appreciated.